book by Dale Carnegie called The Power of Positive Thinking.
Absolutely.
And people, I mean, this was a manual and an inspiration for millions of people. And a living embodiment of that. It seems to be, and so from what I can tell, is Chris Darwin.
It's interesting that as an actor, I search for the one thing that I connect to with the character. Before I play a character, I want to build on one thing. What is the one connective idea, that connective tissue between myself and this character that I have in? And Chris and I were both raised in very spiritual households. And we both believe wholeheartedly that our thoughts, our feelings, our dreams, our ideas are physical in the universe. That if we dream something, if we picture something, if we commit ourselves to it, that is a physical thrust towards realization that we can put into the universe. That the universe is not a thing that's going to push us around. That the world and people and situations are not something that are going to push us around. That we are going to bend the universe and command and demand that the universe become what we want it to be. And it links back to a very spiritual upbringing. For me, it was my mother and grandmother. And for Chris, it was his mother. And there's a term that Chris always uses. I'm gonna get it right, Chris. What do you call it? Spiritual genetics. That there is a spirit of a person, and he feels that it was his mother, and he has the spiritual genetics that his mother embodied, and that was the idea that was the first connective tissue that I connected to with Chris. And I so, if there's one thing that people would walk away from this movie with, that would be my deepest hope. Someone asked me a question, I was in Europe a few weeks ago promoting the movie, and the person asked me, what is my preoccupation with happy endings, right? And I was sort of thrown by that a little bit, am I preoccupied with happy endings? And the tone was as if that was unrealistic. And the question threw me because I feel like, don't we all want a happy ending? Like, is anybody sitting out there right now like, damn, I hope I get hit by the car when I run outside? This night been too good, man. I just want somebody to run me the hell over when I walk out. And I feel like the first thing, you have to believe it, right? Like, you got to believe that you can be married happily for 50 years if you ever expect to be married happily for 50 years. Like, you can't talk about how unrealistic, you can't talk about how unrealistic it is to be married happily for 50 years and expect it to happen. It's unrealistic to walk in a room and flip a switch and lights come on. That's unrealistic. Fortunately, Edison didn't think so. It's unrealistic to bend some... Hey! Security! It's unrealistic to think you're going to bend a piece of metal and fly people over an ocean in that metal. That's unrealistic. But fortunately, the Wright brothers and others didn't believe that. And it just seems like such a ridiculous idea to me to embrace the idea that it's not going to happen and that's not real for that to happen. As soon as you say it, now you just made that real. I connected to also with racism. People ask me about racism in Hollywood. Why would I acknowledge racism. When you acknowledge the obstacle, you actually give it power by the acknowledgement of it. I'm going to walk through it. I'm going to walk over it. Around it. So I would say that my preoccupation is with the power that we all possess individually. And I refuse to relinquish my power. So my preoccupation with the happy ending is that is our power. The belief in that possibility is our power. And don't give it away.